Welcome. Make yourself a little bit comfortable here. I think we talked yesterday a little bit of an announcement that we're going to have a young man here to speak about his run for the county. And so I'm going to let him do the speaking, and I might ask him a question or two. But make sure you share this with your friends about this live video that we're having right now. This is La Voz De Whatcom, probably the only stream radio in Whatcom County, bilingual, Spanish or English. And so I want to welcome anybody who would like to ask any questions. Feel free. We are in the air right now. Amigo, do you want to go ahead and start, and we'll go from there, okay?
Thank you very much, Manuel. I'd like to welcome everyone to the show. My name is Dan Purdy, and I'm running for Whatcom County Executive. The Whatcom County Executive is the chief executive officer of the county. That's the CEO, and it's a really important role. And so I've decided to run for several reasons, but most of all, I just feel like there are a lot of folks that are underrepresented in the county. They don't have a voice, or maybe they're afraid to speak up. And I'm not afraid of anything. So if you have something on your mind and you need it to get out there and be represented in the county amongst these very difficult and trying times, then I would be the candidate for you.
I think it's important to realize the things that he has just said. As a community, we must be able to provide information to you that is straightforward. And I have my friend here who's not afraid to say the truth. And I think we need leadership. We need a change in which we have a good communicator in our area. Whatcom County is growing, and it will grow even more. But we need the strong leadership that will provide for all groups of people in this community. And I think it's very important. I believe the Hispanic community, let me take one step back. I was, for those who don't know, I was a Washington State Hispanic commissioner here in Washington State. And for many years, I was on there for about 6 years. But during my lifetime, I've been involved quite a bit in a lot of things here in Whatcom County, Skagits, down in the East Coast too. And a Hispanic have not really had a very strong voice, even under the governor that we have right now. And I'll say it like it is. We need individuals to stand up to be able to bring the communities together. And not only that, but to provide the tools that are necessary for the growth of our community in a way that's positive for all ethnic groups. And I'm talking for anything, not just Hispanics, but the Punjabis, our brothers, elimination, anybody that needs some sort of direction. And there has been a lack of that.
Yeah, that's a really good point. My whole platform is a unifying one. It doesn't segment, and it certainly doesn't cater to one group over another. I stand for 4 things in this election cycle, Manuel, and it's public safety. We all care about our safety of our families and our children. We all have seen what's happened to law enforcement and how they've been attacked these past several years. I find that unacceptable. I want to make a stronger investment in law enforcement to protect our family units and our neighborhoods and make us feel like we've got the security in our property and then, of course, in our family lives. I also stand for accountability of government, and that means fiscal responsibility. We work so hard for our dollars, and then to give them in forms of taxes and not really know how they're being spent or whether or not they're managed well. That's unacceptable as well. We need to be able to know where our tax dollars are going, and they have to reflect our values. In addition to that, I'm running with the platform of cost of living reductions. It's gotten incredibly difficult to afford an apartment, a condo, a home, a single family home in Whatcom County. We've got the highest gas taxes and gas rates at the pump of all 50 states. It's really difficult to fill up the gas tank, let alone, to purchase groceries or some of the fun things that we like to do, like maybe even take a vacation. These are the kinds of things that I feel like we can work on through some regulatory and also some housing issues. And then not so finally, I want to have more sensible environmental policies. I know that we care a lot about our environment and we all want to be good stewards. It's really important that we do that in the right way so that we're not making emotional decisions, but logical decisions that really are effective.
Very strong points, and I'm going to tap onto those things that you said earlier. Housing. I've been involved also in some housing down there in Skagit County. I've gone to testify for the housing in that manner. Skagit County is doing an excellent job of doing housing for migrants, housing for disabled veterans. How many housing for veterans is there here in Whatcom County? That's a question that only you can answer. But I believe we need a lot more works people to actually do those kind of things. Skagit County has done an excellent job that way. And I believe we should take care of our veterans. There's some that really have PTSD, and I think they need help. And a veteran will not necessarily go and say, "Hey, I need your help." A lot of times it's all mental, and a lot of times they're not able to control their feelings in a manner that is positive, especially if the person is married. Very, very difficult upon the wife, upon the children. We need that kind of assistance to help out in housing, in veterans issues, a lot more. Normally, people come to me, and I ask some of my veteran brothers to help. One leader that he moved on, he'd retired. Uh, he kind of, like I said, retired. Is going everywhere, enjoying life as it is. But Jim Pace was an excellent, excellent individual. And right now, to find somebody that has PTSD, it is difficult. I have a brother that comes to the show. For some of you have actually listened to him. He was a medic in Vietnam. He was all wounded up, but that didn't stop him. He did not carry a weapon, rifle, or nothing whatsoever. He was yes, a medic, and like I said, he's here on the radio now. Uh, he was denied some things as a veteran, so he finally went to Mexico, got a diploma as a doctor, went back to California, and proceeded to get a higher education. And he is an actual doctor that way. But now he's applying to get some disability because of Agent Orange, and he's been making all kinds of calls. And so you see, there are issues. Sometimes our own personal VA or disabled veterans are not able to tap into it. We have to have senators, representatives that come on board and be a mouthpiece for our veterans. Do we have that much? I'll let you do most of this here because I know I have other things to say, but I rather kind of hold back on. We are having a meeting with some of the Congress people on Hispanic issues, and I would like to invite you to it and be part of it. Patty Moore is going to be involved in a lot of things. Possibly Del Benny also. Susan Del Benny will also be involved. But I want you to be able to bring the community together in a way that's positive, in a way that we can all make some gains for the future of our veterans now and also for our children. And our children are important, and I think schooling is also important. But
yeah, and while I have you here, I want to thank you for your service. I notice your patch there for U.S. Army. My father and my two grandfathers were U.S. Army. One served in Korea in the early 50s. He was with the American Security Agency. He was a code breaker.
Oh, good. Yourself, you're not a veteran?
No. I took the college track, and that's one of the reasons why I'm running.
Okay.
Because I'm doing my civic duty by running for a public office. I had the option right out of high school to go into the ROTC or to go into another,
Yes,
level of
yes.
service.
Uh-huh.
But I chose the college track, and obviously that puts you on a path.
Yes.
I do have someone in my family who might be interested in going into the service. I've got other family members who are Navy, U.S. Navy, and they're serving down in San Diego right now. So yeah, it's a wonderful
Mhm.
it's a wonderful time. But to your point about people being heard and folks being felt like government is doing anything for them, that's yet another reason why I'm running, Manuel, because
Go ahead.
yeah, from my perspective, many of us are just asleep. We assume that the folks who are in government are doing and representing us well, and it isn't always so. So I found a lot of things that needed to be changed within our county, and I felt the way that I could do that was to be at the highest level of government. And for us, it's going to be the chief executive officer position. There's a change that's necessary, and so I represent a new book, a new chapter, and representing you here in Whatcom County going forward.
Well, one thing that has come up, which most of you uh, voters haven't heard about, and it's usually something up in the main council. Um, the Northwest Annex issue has come up. A lot of veterans would like to keep that place as it is, maybe fix it up, whatever. Uh, Presently, unfortunately, the county right now wants to tear it down. It's over 100 years old.
Mhm.
It's solid, and I believe that place there has a lot of memories. It was a hospital, As a matter of fact, I had one of my sisters was born there.
Oh,
But those kind of solid buildings like that, it's a reminder of the past, and also a place where we can also do other things positive. We have the soccer field right next to there. I don't believe it. Even the sheriff uses part of it too. And I think when it comes to the county and it comes to doing service for the community, I strongly believe that that building should stay and should be used for the community of Whatcom County. And I'm hoping that the city council, whoever might be listening, will keep that in effect. Uh, I speak as a leader of the community. We have a leader here can also proceed. I'm not going to be saying this is the way you should go. No, he's a very bright individual, and he's going to make the efforts to try to reach out to all of us in a way that's professional, in a way also that we can also work together. Um, I think it's important that we bring somebody on board as a communicator, not afraid to say the things that are straightforward for the community, for the leaders, for the environment, for all the things that we can bring together in a way that's positive. So,
and to that issue, I actually just had breakfast with an individual who was representing one of our mutual friends,
mm,
and I had a giant pack of information delivered to me. And of course, at the Northwest Washington Fair, part of the
mhm,
booth there, one of the booths was about the Northwest Annex and some of the issues. So I've been learning a lot about that and how important it is to people. And you're right, it was a hospital. It was a place where towards the end, it was a hospice care center.
yes,
So some people were born there, some people were there, and they passed. But it's an emotional and a logical decision, and I think it's one that we need to have a greater discussion about. What are our options? Some people feel that it should be preserved as a historic monument.
mhm,
Others feel that it should be replaced with a more modern facility. I know that the city has published plans. Maybe the county rather has
mhm,
published plans around what it would look like in the future. It's a pretty sterile building with a
mhm.
flat top roof, and it doesn't look like anything that
Yeah.
it does now with its really neat Shaker architecture and
Yes.
English Tudor style. I guess that's what
Mhm,
it's called. Um, I've seen the papers. There are 850 signatures on a petition to save the building.
mhm.
But it's even more beyond that. It's whether or not we put a roundabout at the corner of
Oh, okay.
the Northwest and the Smith roads
Mhm,
right there. there's people talking about they don't want even the roundabout there. So yeah,
Okay.
big
Good,
issue.
good, 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 good. Well, anyway, this is the reason we bring my friend here on board to so you can actually listen to what he has, some of the ideas that he might have. You know, we all have ideas, we all have dreams, but you know, it's up to the voters to decide. It's a time for a change. It's a time that we can also proceed in a very positive way. And this is the reason we have La Voz de Whatcom. Para ustedes que están escuchando, este es el tiempo para ustedes, para que si tienen mensajes, preguntas, póngalas aquí en chat para que él también pueda ver las cosas que usted tiene para hablar. I basically said if anybody is wants to put some words on there in Spanish, whatever, we can also answer them. But today I usually use it for Sundays is for Bible study, but today is special because we have a leader here who's able to reach out to you in a way that hopefully you will consider him as a candidate. And I also wish that you talk to him whenever he's available to talk, okay? And because talking to a person face to face, asking questions in a way that's proper, it's positive because then you have an idea of the leaders of the individuals that are running for office. I believe we need a change. I have met basically all the individuals that are running, but like I said, it's going to be your call, and I hope that you have consideration. Um, Tell me, I know you put down the information as far as somewhat of your education. Go ahead and speak of what you have done and what you know your titles and so forth.
Sure.
You know that would give people.
So as I mentioned before, this is a CEO job. It's written into the Whatcom County Charter, and it says that the county executive
Mhm.
is the chief executive officer of the county. And it goes on to say, as chief executive officer in section 3.22 of the Whatcom County Code, and these are all the duties. So you need somebody who has a CEO type of resume. And I've worked for 5 Fortune 500 companies. I've always been involved in operations, and that includes things like procurement and supply chain management. I was there when Lehman Brothers went out in 2008 in the fall, and was uh, very much um, involved with moving large boats around different oceans and continents, trying to get materials so that people could continue to do the things that were necessary. The world was a mess back then, but here we are, and we're post-COVID, and we need folks that have worked in these giant roles. I've also owned and operated 4 small businesses, and I've sold 2 of them. I think it's really important that people have a really strong business background. They've got a good acumen. They know how to negotiate. I've negotiated giant contracts for huge companies like Hewlett Packard, Agilent Technologies, AECom, Freeport McMoran Copper and Gold, and then also BP. And so having that kind of experience and that life experience is really important to this kind of role. There's a lot of things that we should be doing to streamline processes. And I've got something called a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt. I've also got a green belt in advanced tools and principles, but a Lean Six Sigma Black Belt is able to go in and review a process, review a business, and to make positive changes so that things move smoothly. The very first thing that I'll attack, of course, is going to be our permitting process and what prevents us from building.
Yes.
And that's a giant issue that we're experiencing countywide right now. And the more people I talk to, Manuel, they're just so frustrated, and they're investing so much time and energy in defense of this government who is just trying to prevent them from doing the things that they deserve to be doing as Americans. So those are some of the skills that I bring to the table. I've also written a book, and it's about personal strategic planning, how to change your life, and how to do it in 5 major areas. And those include your finances, your health, your hobbies, your hopes, your relationships, your most intimate, deepest relationships with your families and your friends and your fellowships, And then how to be a better citizen, through volunteerism and community service, and just giving it away to others in need. And then probably the most important is the spiritual aspect. For Christians and for people like you and me,
Yes.
we think of it in terms of our relationship with God and how he works through our lives to impact the lives of others. To the non-Christian or to the non-believer, it's all about, why are you here? What is your vision for your life? What is your mission? What have you been given to do? What's your core value set, and what do you believe in? These are the things that we should all be thinking about on a regular basis.
hmm Well, you tapped in a lot of things. Talking about wetlands, for example. I've had a lot of people come to me and ask me, "Man, can you help me with this? I go to the county and I bought some property. Now I can't do nothing with it whatsoever." And there it sits. So I told them, you got to get after them. There's certain regulations you have to follow through, drainage or whatever it may be. Do it accordingly to the county. And there are issues that come up. And there's solely piece of property which are promised to be the dream home of forever.
Yeah.
Then they found there's issues on that. And it is important that whoever real estate person is got to be more honest when they go about selling a piece of property or land, whatever. It's going to be used to the intent of what the person really needs.
Mhm.
You don't want to buy something in which you're going to just let it sit there. And it's important for you to realize that we need leaders, or we need a change in the departments to actually have a voice for every person that's able to purchase, and knowingly that he's not going to be cheated
Mhm.
and invest in something that he won't be able to use.
I was speaking with a family on Friday. They had a nice parcel of land, and there was a storm, some standing water, and suddenly that's a wetlands because there were puddles on their property. And I hear that more and more.
Yes.
Um, these are the kinds of things that I feel the government, whether it be at a state level, a federal level, a county level, or even a local municipality, I think that there needs to be more sound reasoning applied. A stormwater puddle is not the same as a wetland, in my view. And the legal definition, I think, should reflect the benefit of the landowner. We should be preserving more rights and not taking them away from Americans and from people who live in Whatcom County. We talk about water rights. It's about to get really bad here in Whatcom County in terms of the water rights adjudication that's coming. And my understanding is that there are about to be 24,000 defendants within the county who may or may not lose their rights to water, whether it be, from a commercial perspective, an industrial use, maybe a residential property, someone who owns 5 acres and has a well. It could be in terms of the farmers, the ranchers, and then of course the municipalities who have something called inchoate rights. And it's just going to be a mess. The tribes, they have certain rights that they're seeking to protect. So as the state basically sues Whatcom County and tries to figure out who has water rights and who doesn't, and it goes back through history. The example I give is, sometimes I lose my car keys, right? Like, where did I put my car keys? How am I going to find a document from 1970 something that shows that I've got these guaranteed rights and that they were in perpetuity and they continued through the different sales or the pass downs through the generations? I mean, how am I going to be able to prove water rights to a bureaucracy that is there to gift it and gift my rights to anyone else who has better documentation? We just went through this with the Yakima Basin in down south by the Columbia. And I feel like there's a storm brewing, and we need strong leadership to get us through that. And I am the person to do that because I will fight for the water rights in Whatcom County of each individual represented.
Can you answer the question there?
Oh, the question that just came through was, how many people are running for executive in total? Great question. So in Whatcom County, we have two elections. One is called the primary election, and we had 6 people running for the position. It was decided by voters on August 1st, 2023, that the people with the 2 highest votes would progress to the general. So I progressed with the incumbent. So now there's just 2 of us, and we're on our way to November 7, 2023.
So you
Great
see,
question.
yeah, that's good. So he's got the answers. Whatever questions you might have, he's got the education and stern ability to answer questions that you might have. So don't be bashful. I was bashful a long time ago when I was a little kid because I came into from Texas to an old chicken house and I grew up as I went, but I kept everything to myself. I wasn't much of a speaker, but with time I learned and so forth and I proceeded. And this is a tool that I have obtained through life, experience and things that I went through. But you have an individual here that has had education and the ability to further in a positive way the things that we have even here in Whatcom County. But if anybody else has any question whatsoever, feel free. This is the time for you to ask. And on this wells, then,
Mhm.
uh, is is a dispute in the state or is it in the county? How's
The dispute is in the county.
okay?
There are different parties within the
Uh-huh.
county
Correct.
that feel that they have rights to water, and others are trying to protect their water rights and whatnot. And it's highly complex. And you've got the tribes, and they have rights to fishing that go
Yes.
back to the 1855 Point Elliott Treaty. And then you have others who want to pull water out of our aquifers. We're here in Ferndale, Washington right now, and Ferndale has been blessed with so much water underneath its feet,
Mm.
and there are giant aquifers and whatnot that go throughout the county. What this massive lawsuit is going to do is kind of map the entire aquifer and to figure out who has rights to these to water. If you're a farmer, if you're in the agricultural business, will you be able to draw as much water as you presently do to, feed your crops, to feed your livestock or whatever it might be? That's going to be determined. There's a whole host of issues here that can go really in depth and in detail, but the state is bringing this to Whatcom County, and I feel personally that there's an opportunity for us to talk together as neighbors, as fellow citizens, and as friends. I mean, this is not something we want other people, doing for us. We should be able to come together and try again and again to work this out amongst ourselves. You're going to hear reports of certain wells going dry in different parts of the county, and I think that's natural, depending on the underground topography and when you're pulling water from and such. Farmers have gotten really innovative, and they've figured out how to do, irrigation right, and they've got horizontal, pools of water and such, and that seems to be efficient. But yeah, this is going to get really messy for us here in the next year or so.
Now, I think with the growth of the population, people moving into this area because of the abundance of water right now, it will draw a lot more people. I mean, we have a lot of buildings here in Ferndale that have gone up. Why? Because we have a river, we have the water, and so that's part of life. I don't know how Linden stands. I don't really know how. I'm surprised Everson hasn't grown more, and I believe that's it's part of the process of growth in the community. But like I said, it's those are the challenges that you will be
Yep.
having in that respect. But I believe you have the ability to actually speak and explain to the community what it takes. The community has a voice. The community also has the power to elect who they want.
Yeah.
But it is the listeners, also the ability to share this message. You have a leader here is willing to perform. He has the education. He's got the tools. He's got the know-how to proceed in a way that's positive. So overall, it's going to be your call. But in some ways too, though, we have to choose somebody, right? So what has a other candidate done this past few years? And I know him too personally, but still, I believe that it is time that somebody takes on this kind of responsibility, and it is a big responsibility for your children and for every neighbor that we have here in common. So I really, you have something else to bring up you can think of?
Do you have any other questions that are coming through?
And that's for you people. Anybody has any question whatsoever, this is your time. If you don't want to put like it came on here, yes, the question. It didn't come with your name or nothing, and so you are protected by that. But if you have questions, you can email.
Mhm.
You can put the email on there.
My website is danpurdy.com, and my email address is info@danpurdy.com.
Actually, you can probably put it on there on this right here.
A question just came through from one of our viewers. When are ballots due?
Okay.
Ballots are due by the first Tuesday in November, and I believe that's November 7.
And I was kind of disappointed. I have voted every year, and I waited for my ballot. And I asked, I called the office. I said, "Where is my ballot?" And they said, "We got to do it on the internet." My internet was down all day, so I was not able to vote. So I have to follow. I'm glad I have to follow with that. I make sure what happened, and everything else. But uh, it's important to vote. It's something that's very important. Uh, in the time that I have lived, in the time that I've been involved in the community, and I think it's important that we have a voice and we have the power to vote for the people that will represent us in a very positive way. Uh, it's your call in that manner. So, okay. So, other than that, I hope you'll be able to support Daniel. Ojalá que ustedes puedan aprender también que este hombre está aquí para servir a la comunidad del condado, de este condado, y también es una voz para ustedes. Cuando él tendrá una pregunta a usted, pueden hablar conmigo, o si quieren tener una junta también es posible. La Cámara con Comercio del Noroeste también está para escucharlos. Si quieren tener una junta con ellos también, también es posible. Todavía hay tiempo. What I ask also, the Northwest Washington Hispanic Chamber of Commerce can also make time, if it's possible, for him to talk to them as a whole. Personally, I'm going to somewhat retire from the Hispanic Chamber because I was the one that founded it. It has been going on for quite a few years, but I have not stopped being a mouthpiece for the community. And I'm talking about everywhere in the county, everywhere in Skagit, even all the way in the state. I get down to the point, I try to resolve things in a way that's positive. So I will continue to do this part in helping you, even on the radio. I'm also have been asked to go back on the radio in Skagit Valley, a KSVR 91.7 FM. But I'm kind of waiting on my throat to get better before I go down and start doing that. That's another process. But we need a voice. We need the ability to bring up issues on the radio, which I have done in the past, and I'll continue to bring it up. And you have the ability to vote for whoever you want to. And I'd like to thank everybody that's listening. And again, I share this information because after we shut down, you'll see it on YouTube. And share that part so people can understand that we're trying to inform people of the things that we can have in that way. Daniel, I think it's about all. If you bring something else, whatever, just last sentence or something, whatever.
Support Leticia Miguel. She's the new president, is my understanding. of the Northwest Washington Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. My day job is all about helping small businesses grow and scale their companies. And so I've been working with Letty, I call her Letty. I've been working with her to try to understand who these businesses are, how we can support them, and make them grow. We all want the same thing, and that is prosperity and a good, strong foundation for our families and for our communities.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, and you all have a wonderful day. And thank you for listening. And again, I ask you to share this information. You have a good day. Go ahead and hit the end stream. That red. You got it. Again. We're done.